Hey everybody, it's me, Stacey, licensed designer for Sizzix, Jacquard, Couture Creations, brand ambassador for Royal Talens, and owner of Scrapbooking Made Simple. Hello everybody. Hey, welcome to today's In the Studio with Stacey class, where we take fine art product and we mix it in with our paper crafting product and we blend them together to make magic happen. It is amazing to me how fine art product really does lend itself to everything that we do in our paper crafting world, but at a better quality, a higher level. It is amazing to me. So we are now in April, which means I am on month 4 of our In the Studio with Stacey classes. I started in January and I do them every Tuesday, 6 p.m. sunny California time, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. Each month I pick one type of product. Just one type of product from Royal Talens. And for the entire month of Tuesdays, we focus on that one product, showing you different things to do with it, different techniques, how they work, why they work, how not to use them sometimes. Sometimes that's more important than knowing how to use them, what not to do. So in January, we focused the entire month on Ecoline markers. And in February, we focused the entire month on Amsterdam acrylic paints. In March, we moved on to Van Gogh watercolors. And now in April, we're talking Rembrandt soft pastels. Now, I have to tell you, I did not know much about well, what I thought I knew, I didn't know. In my mind, soft pastels were something that were crumbly and messy and hard to work with, and really, what am I going to do with it? And you have to use a fixative every time you use it. I was wrong. I was so wrong. And as I grow in my brand ambassador with Royal Talens, I am learning more and more about different products that I had misconceptions about. And then I get to come to you and share all of this new information like I did not know. And soft pastels is part of that. Now, soft pastels is we have them in the half sticks. They are the oldest coloring medium in the world. They have been around longer than anything else. And really, when you're holding a soft pastel, it's like holding pure pigment in your hand. Pure pigment. That is what a soft pastel is. Now, there's many different types of soft pastels, and some of them are very, very crumbly and fiddly, and not with the Rembrandt brand. And that's by Royal Talens. So Rembrandt is the highest level of product, well, one of the highest levels of product that Royal Talens sells. So the Rembrandt soft pastels truly are artist grade pastels. And yet, the pricing, honest to goodness, the pricing is so good. If these were from a paper crafting company, I think they would be at least double the price. But as a fine art company selling to artists and hobbyists around the globe who want the best quality, who know that when they run out of this color of soft pastel, they can buy it again and it's going to be that exact same shade. That's what fine art is all about. It's about the standard of quality, the level of quality, and sometimes the ease of use, because the better quality you have, the easier it is to use. So fine artists really rely on companies like Royal Talens to ensure that what they bring out to the market meets that fine art standard. And yet the pricing is sometimes, holy smokes, artichokes. Now, last week we played with the first 3 sets that I did, and I explained to you that holding one is like holding pigment in your hand. They're easy to use, they're fun, they're affordable, and I mean, they're light, fast, and they are the oldest form of coloring medium, because then watercolors came after the pastels. Watercolor came in after this when they started to mix it with water. So you've got this palette of easy to use, fun product coloring medium that does this and this and this and this and that. And I didn't know it did all of that. I didn't know it didn't have to be chalky and messy. I didn't know that you could stamp on top of it. I didn't know that you could color different mediums with it, different surfaces with it. There was so much I didn't know. So last week we really played with the first 3 sets, and these are the sets we played with last week. And you can go back and you can watch that class. There we go. So I have got my luscious greens, I've got my warm yellows, and my cool reds. And this week we are adding 3 more sets. We're going to be playing with our cool yellows. We're going to be playing with our cool greens, which look more like teals to me. And we're going to be playing with our red violets. So the same deal from last week applies to this week. We have all 3 of them absolutely for sale. And if you do the I Want It All, it's like you're buying 2, getting the 3rd one for free. Now these retail for $11, right around $11 each, full price. So when I saw the quality and I'm like, how can they do that? Well, Royal Talens just does. Now they explained a lot to me about pastels and how to work with them. One thing they did not talk to me about is the extrusion method, how they pop these little guys out of the extruder. So they take all their pigments, they blend everything in, they put it into a mold, they get it firm, and they push it down from pressure, I guess maybe, and then it pops out. So the one thing they won't tell me is how they get it to pop out. Apparently that is secret sauce, trade secrets, and I don't get to know that yet. But that's okay. I'm okay with that. Just knowing the high concentration of pigment that are in these pastels makes my heart happy. So I've got the original set that I did last week that's still available. If you do the I Want It All, it's like buying 2, getting the 3rd one for free, and then the new sets. And for the next several weeks, I'm going to be bringing out additional sets each week because we're going to grow with these pastels. And gosh, week 3 or week 4, we really turned the corner. We just, pshh. But last week there was a lot of question about stamping. Can you stamp on it? How do you stamp on it? What can you stamp on it with? And last week I showed the pastels on several different papers, on mineral paper, on watercolor paper, and on mixed media paper. And I think we may do some of that today, show you a couple different papers, but I have brought stamps with me today. Hello. I brought some of my new creative coordinations from Sizzix. So we have something to stamp with. And what types of inks, and do you have to wait? What does it do? How does it do? So I'm going to tilt down and we're going to get started for today. We are talking about Rembrandt soft pastels, which are they're not soft, let me tell you. They're pretty firm. They're not chalky like you would expect, and the things you can do with them are magic. So last week I didn't do any swatching. I think this week I'm going to do a little bit of swatching for you, and then we're going to go into stamping and how to stamp with it, because there's some things you should know ahead of time so you know what to expect when you're stamping on top of pastels. All right, are you ready to get started? Me too. I'm going to tilt on down. We're going to get started for today. It's good to see everybody. Welcome to In the Studio with Stacey. All right, down we go. And let me zoom on in. And zoom. All right, so I want to do a little bit of swatching. And for me, I'm going to swatch on my Van Gogh mixed media paper. This is kind of a hybrid paper. It's great for markers like Ecoline markers, but it also has some watercolor qualities to it. It is perfectly smooth, where watercolor paper usually has some sort of a texture, and it does have sizing in the paper. So what does sizing mean when we're talking about paper? Sizing isn't the size of the paper. That would be like if we were talking in our paper crafting modes. But in fine art, sizing has everything to do with something that has been added to the pulp of the paper or laid down on top that adjusts the absorbency rate of liquid. So the more sizing that is in a paper, the longer it will take for the liquid to absorb in, giving you more opportunity to work with it, which is why watercolor paper, good watercolor paper, has a lot of sizing, because you want that paint to sit up on top and give you the opportunity to work with it. If you've ever worked with paper and you've put ink on it or watercolor and it just goes, then you know that paper doesn't have much sizing at all. So our Van Gogh mixed media paper is a little bit of everything to everybody. If you have to pick only one paper, this might be the paper you choose, because it will work with just about everything you use, and it's got enough sizing in it to allow you to play with liquids and waters and watercolors on top of it. Now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna do some quick, now this is perforated. I wanna let you know it is perforated. I just don't have the patience. So I could perforate and then tear. I'm just a girl who's gonna cut it off and be done. And because I didn't do any swatching last week, I thought I should do some this week. And I think you should swatch what you have. That way you have an understanding of what it can do. I've got some maker's tape here from Sizzix, and I do have, so these are the first 3 original sets from last week. So we have the lush greens, we have the warm yellows, and we've got the cool reds. These are the sets for this week. So I've got what they're calling cool greens, which are the most beautiful teals I've ever seen. I've got what they're calling cool yellows, and I have got red. Ooh! Well, now you know that they don't break. I've got red violets. Nope, this one up here, and that one, and that one, and that one. I believe this one is rose violets. So the 3 sets we have this week are here, and again, they're about $11 each. We do have them on sale, but the bundle is the best price. It's buy 2 get 1 free. So I'm going to just do some quick swatching of maybe 2 of those sets. I've got 1 set already done for you, so I can show you. And I'm taking some Sizzix maker's tape, and I am on that Van Gogh mixed media paper. So I think what's pretty cool about pastels is that they started to be, 15th century is when they started to really be produced. The 18th century is when they came into their own. But in the 15th century is when they really started to be produced. And it's amazing that they produce them exactly the same today as they did back then. They haven't changed the process at all. And I think that says something for the process. Now I'm gonna grab my cool yellows, and we're just gonna do some quick swatching on the cool yellows and the greens. And then we're gonna move into stamping. So I'm gonna take what looks like basically a white, and write down, and it's pretty white. And then I'm gonna take my little stubby, and I'm just gonna move that around. Now this is where you're gonna see that chalkiness happen. I'm trying to build that color into my paper, and that's where some of that chalkiness will happen. And then I can just wipe it right off. But if I take my, and again, this is on a white, I should grab some black. Do I have some black open? I do now. Black Van Gogh watercolor. So here it is on the black. So it is basically a white. And I'm using a little stubby to blend, but there you go. There it is on black, so you can see it a little bit better. But you can take it and you can put it on a baby wipe. Now, I don't know if you can see this. There's just a hint of yellow there. I mean, it's a hint of color. I don't think you're going to see it on our white paper. And I know when you do it on the black with a baby wipe, there you go. That's what you're going to get. So let's move to my next color. And it's a little bit more yellow. And I'm just taking it on the edge, which is what that's called. I'm taking it off on the edge. So a little goes a long way. I tend to use more than I need. I'm big on that. And then I'm just gonna take my stubby and I'm just gonna blend it right into my paper. Now, the more you blend into your paper, the less fixative you will need. People say you can use hairspray for fixative, but if you get it rubbed in there really well and all the extra dust is off, I find that you don't need, at least I don't need a fixative as much as I think I do, because I've really put that yellow in there. Now, if I take my baby wipe, and I'm just using baby wipes today, and I put my yellow down, I can wipe it right on. So I could get this wet and paint with it. And just wipe it right on. And we're good. And then a little bit darker. And just moving it around. Now, I've got so much on here that I've created too much dust. I am the worst. I need to use less. And in fact, that's one of the teachable moments, is less is more with pastels. And my stubby just smooths it right on out. But then I can take my baby wipe. Doesn't hurt the pastel, doesn't hurt the baby wipe. And I can lay some color down. That's good. And then my next color. Which is even a little bit darker. I like that they're sold in color families. See, and again, I used too much. I like that they're sold in color families. That way I've got a shade for everything I'm working on. Light to dark. Okay, nicely blended. And then my baby wipe. Oh, I've got green on that one. Let's get a new baby wipe. Right on my baby wipe. And right to my paper. So it is up to you how you want to use them. This is just 2 ways that they can be used. Let's try to go a little bit less. A little bit less. So these are my cool yellows. Last week I used my warm yellows. Okay, I think that's good. And then let's baby wipe. And look at the color. Depends upon how dark I want it. I can keep laying down color until I've got the shade that I want. So there are our masked tones, so the tones that are coming straight off the pigment, not blending anything into them. So our masked tones in the 5 shades of our cool yellows. Let's do the cool greens, and then we'll move on to stamping with it. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to make my one, two, 3, 4, because I get 5 sticks per set, and then across the center. Now they call these cool greens. I guess they're greens. They look like teals to me, but I suppose in the color world, a teal is a green. So they're calling these cool greens, and they are absolutely beautiful. Truly, they are. I think I'm going to shave off my little stubby. So if you buy stubbies, you can get them at any art store will have them. Make sure you get a sharpener for them, which is what this is. And you literally just take the sandpaper and sharpen your stubby by getting the last color off of it. This is compressed paper. They're very inexpensive. And you just sharpen and sharpen and sharpen until you don't have a little stubby left. But they last you literally years. And you can have a stubby per color family. I think that's pretty good. All right, so let's take our lightest color of our cool green. Okay, so pretty. I don't know if you can see that, but that is so pretty. And let's just blend. The little stubby softens. Okay, there we go. Then we take our baby wipe. Hello, gorgeous, right? And again, it's up to me how dark I want to make it. Yeah, that's pretty good. Now on black, that's the color we're talking about. But if we get it wet, nothing. They're beautiful on tonal paper, but not with water. The white is okay, but any other color, not so much with water. So let's put that one back and let's grab our next color. A little bit darker. Okay, and then let's put it on with our baby wipe. Right? I mean, this set is gorgeous. This set is absolutely stunning. All right, next one. Oh, I went out of order. Should have been those two. All right, we're gonna go with it. And the more I work it in, the more dust comes off, the more dust comes off, the more it sets into my paper. All I'm trying to do is work it into my paper. Ah, I can't believe I did them out of order, but okay. Well, I don't edit my videos, and they're not scripted, and I don't dub them. They are what they are, and it is what it is. Okay, there's my color. Now this one. But we'll all just look like it was meant to be that way. We'll all just pretend, right? Now you could do it with your finger if you wanted to. You're going to get a little bit more pressure with your stubby. And let's pull our color. All right, dreamy. And then our last. Ooh, super dark. Super dark. It's not a black. It's definitely green. But wow, what a green it is. Great for shadows. It's almost like a pine tree green, maybe. It's deep and dark and luscious. Let's see what it looks like on. I'll get a new one. It almost looks black until you lay it down. Wow, and if you could make this such a soft color. I could keep it just a super soft color. Maybe I do half and half to show you how soft that color could be. So depending on how much I take off, will have everything to do with the final color. All right, so these are what they call cool greens. Done with a stubby, done with a baby wipe. And you can see the difference. So both of these were done with a baby wipe. Imagine that you can get anywhere in between those colors. So all of these colors can be desaturated and lightened up. So the three sets we have for you today are the cool greens, the cool yellows, and I did my pinks already for you. So here are your colors. Beautiful, right? Now let's play with them a little bit. So I do think I'm gonna stay with, well, maybe I'll use some watercolor paper. Maybe I'll do a little bit of both. So I've got my Van Gogh watercolor paper. I'm just gonna take out a few sheets so I have it. And I've got my Van Gogh mixed media paper. All right, so two totally different types of paper, and we're gonna be stamping on top of it. Now I do have mineral paper here too. We played with mineral paper last week. I'll see if we get into it this week. I'll take some out just in case I decide to grab for it. Mineral paper is a different type of paper. It's made up of a calcium carbonate, and it is not typical paper. It's magic is what mineral paper is. I don't know how else to describe it, but you can do just about anything on it, and it's just beautiful. So let's take and let's play with some color. And I'm gonna use my baby wipe. That's what I wanna use. And I absolutely can blend colors. I could take a paintbrush to these, get my paintbrush wet and pick up color. I could shave a little bit and add water to make color. There's really not a lot these won't do, and by adding water to them, you're helping them set into the paper. You're helping them bind to the paper. So if I were to take maybe a little bit of Maybe a little yellow. Maybe a little green. And on a baby wipe, I can then go in here and I can add my color. And I did two colors. I took both colors and added them at the exact same time to give myself very much a watercolory look and feel. Bam. You want to add more yellow? Go in, pick up your yellow. Now you'll know why I had green on my yellow. And you can lay in more of a color. If you're not sure about what you've done and you want to lighten a color, maybe you want that super soft background. You have options. You use so little pastel, so little, it goes so far that I can't imagine that I will get through these sticks. Okay, I'm gonna get through this stick first. There's no question about it. This is from my warm yellows, and this is like my go-to happy color right there. But even then, they're so inexpensive that what you can get away with is amazing for your money. And look at them blend. And just baby wipe until your heart's content. I think my heart's content. Or I could wipe it off and desaturate it. Or I don't have to go in with as much to begin with. Really up to you. But look at how pretty is that. Let's do oh, okay. Let's wipe my hands. And let's do some pink and yellow. It just takes a little. Crazy, isn't it? Look at the colors. And I'm not going to blend too much because I like the look of the two colors. And because they're hardy, because they don't break when they fall, it's okay. They don't snap in half. These are great for kids with baby wipes. How pretty is that, right? Let's go again. Now I might make mud, but I've got plenty of watercolor paper, but I might make mud. Gosh, it's good. I didn't make mud. Wow. That's amazing. I thought I might make mud, but I didn't. It's beautiful. Now, in theory, I could sit here all day and make backgrounds with you. But in reality, I can't. I've got to move on. I need to stop. I wonder what this one would look like if I wiped it all off. Okay, let's get another piece just to be sure. Okay. Less or more? All right, I'm going to call this done. And just kind of let it be watercolory. Pretty. So wiped off, left on. Wiped off, left on. Look at how beautiful they are. And then you don't have that chalkiness coming off once they've dried because that water has helped put it into the paper. It's helped bind it to the paper. And the paper has enough sizing in it that it allows me to play. I could even go back in and play a little bit more if I want. So that was watercolor paper. But what about on our mixed media paper? So let's just go in, we'll make a few backgrounds, and then we're going to start stamping. So 2 shades of my pink. Right on my mixed media paper. Now I've blended them all into one shade. And I think I might be getting too much, I think I'm getting down to where there's too much liquid in my baby wipes. So I'll take some of my liquid out. Just trying to make some blends. All right, on my mixed media paper. I've got a couple going here. We'll do one more. I want to use a full one. So I'm going to take a little bit of my liquid out. Look at how much liquid's in there. In a baby wipe. Who would have ever known, right? Look at how easy and pretty is that. Talk about zen. Oh, I don't want to take it off. Don't do that, Stacey. Too much, too much, too much. All right, so I've created a bunch of different backgrounds, whether it be on our mixed media paper, our watercolor paper, whether it be desaturated, full saturation. Got oodles going on here. And you saw just how quick and simple. Now on mineral paper, it behaves completely different. Colors are a little bit more vibrant. completely different look. Color's a little bit more vibrant, a little bit more pop. Now with mineral paper, it wipes right off. So you can go in there and you can add your color, but you don't want to go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, because ultimately what you're going to do is lift the color right off. You kind of have to go in there and lay your color down. Move it around a little bit and let it be. No back and forth and back and forth. Oh, no. Go down, lay down my color. Because it behaves entirely differently than watercolor paper. Dries perfectly flat, sticks to the paper beautifully, but behaves a little differently depending on how you put it down with your baby wipe. And if I were to come back and do this, I'm really losing all the beautiful color. Now let's stamp. So I've got several to play with, and the question was, what kind of ink? What kind of ink? What kind of ink? Well, almost any ink will work. From a waterproof ink to a dye-based ink, it kind of depends upon what you're doing. You can use a StazOn permanent ink if you want. Maybe a StazOn, we'll see. I'm going to use waterproof on my mineral paper. I might use some dye-based inks on some of these lighter ones, maybe some waterproof. We'll see. Let's stamp. So I'm going to bring over my stencil and stamp tool from Sizzix. And I'm not using it as a stencil positioner today. I'm using it as a stamp positioner. So I need to keep the top on because that top is what my stamp is going to cling to. There's a grid on one side, smooth surface on the other, and a piece of sticky grid comes with it. That sticky grid is what holds your paper in place. Hold your paper in place. And yet when you're ready to pull it up, it just pulls up easy peasy. After a while, your sticky grid will not stick anymore and you'll need to get a new sheet. And they do sell 5 sheets to a pack. I'll tell you, this is going to last you a really long time, the sticky grid. What makes it not sticky is constantly putting your hands on it because the oil's from your hands, or getting embossing powder or glitter, anything that would de-stickify. Anything else is not necessarily good for this. Now I have some of my stamps from Sizzix. These are my new Stacey Park Creative Coordinations sets. And so they come with a full-size stamp. They come with sentiments. They come with a stamp of the die, because there is a die under here that allows you to die cut out. Then you can stamp your design inside your die and then your sentiments. It's a whole complete card making system in one kit. Of course, though, you can use the stamps and the sentiments all the time. You can use the sentiments in your art journals. You can use them, the stamp in your art journal. You can use them in scrapbooking. They're really there for everything. So let's pull. And I've got my paper down. I'm going to put my stamp right on top of it. Close it up with the grid side face up, give a press, pull up. Now I'm just going to use some dye-based ink, and this is my Jacquard Stacey Park dye-based, premium dye-based ink. So the thing about my inks is that they're water soluble. They don't make mud. They're highly saturated so that you can desaturate them to almost any lighter shade of the same color. And bring over my little stamping tool that was made for me and give a good press. And lift up. And I think I'm going to do it one more time. This is the first time I'm stamping with this stamp. So I think I'm going to do it one more time. Typically I would stamp off with my stamp to kind of get whatever residue is left from the packaging. But I'm just using a dye-based ink. And I've stamped on top of my pastel on watercolor paper. Super easy. Let's do this one. Ooh, maybe not that one. All right, let's do this one. And do I want to go with a different shade, maybe a brown? Wipe off my stamp. Oh, you can see how much ink was still in it. Wipe off my stamp. And let's ink up with the brown. So this is Baked Brownie, and my blue is Blueberry Pie. So my inks are manufactured by Jacquard, which is also a fine art company. Oh, pretty. Do I want to go a little darker? If I do, add another layer of ink. And because I'm using a stamp positioner, as long as I don't move that paper, everything is going to stay where it needs to be. Pretty. So dye-based inks, absolutely. This is on, ooh, this one is on mixed media paper. This one's on watercolor paper. And it doesn't wipe off. Give it a second to seep into the paper and then you're good to go. What about waterproof ink? What about the black waterproof ink? You absolutely can use black waterproof ink. Let's change our stamp. Maybe we come here. So again, full-size stamp. Stamp to decorate the inside of your die cut because you're going to get the die cut, and then all the sentiments you would ever need. So let's take this one and this one. And let's grab our stamp. Right on top. Lift it up. And instead of using one of my inks, I'm going to use the Jacquard waterproof black ink. Waterproof ink is an important thing to have in your crafty stash, regardless of what kind of maker you are. If you are doing any kind of stamping at any time, waterproof ink is very handy to have. It will stamp on just about everything. It's not a permanent ink, it's a waterproof ink. So that means if you want to color with alcohol ink markers, this isn't going to smear. It's going to stay exactly where you need it to stay. If you are playing with watercolors, if you're playing with mixed medias and pastes and all sorts of stuff, this is the ink you want, because it's not going, as you add that wet medium, whatever that wet medium is, it's not going to make the ink move. It's going to stay where you put it. Oh my gosh, that's beautiful. I'm gonna do one more. That's so pretty. I'm so sorry, it's so pretty. Oh my gosh. Look at the color. Done with pastels. And they're not wiping off because I used water. I used a baby wipe. Look at how beautiful. My ink didn't even smear. And I went pretty quickly. I wiped pretty quickly on there. Is that not absolutely gorgeous? Little bit more to the side. Oh, look at that generational stamping. Gosh, do I even want to do more to it? Do I want to go darker? I don't know. Oh, it's beautiful. Okay, let's go a little darker. So this is now on mineral paper with my black waterproof ink. Oh, oh my gosh. Now I'm gonna need to let that dry for a minute because this isn't typical paper. but holy smokes, artichokes, does that look good? Okay, it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. Need to let it dry. And you will see it dry when it's not so shiny anymore. And I don't want to touch it because I know it needs to dry. So then let's pull over. I suppose we could do this one. Do I want to change up my stamp? What inks do you have? Pastels are very forgiving. It's almost more about the paper that you're using than anything else. Full-size stamp. A die underneath, a stamp to go on top of the die, and then all of your sentiments. So these were made to work with my dimensional diffuser. So all of the stamped elements and the die element fit the dimensional diffusers that are out. The oval, the circle, the diamond, the rectangle. Right on top. Push. And down. It just doesn't get any easier. The pastels are, I was so wrong. My husband is going to put the calendar and put this date in the calendar. Stacey said she was wrong. I was. That was almost perfect, Stacey. Now I'm on watercolor paper, so I just keep changing my paper, and yet it works. Let's see, are we done? Yes. So mineral paper, when you're splotching it on like that and you're kind of putting it on with your baby wipe as opposed to wiping back and forth, not so crazy about the wiping back and forth. It just kind of takes it right off the mineral paper. But the splotching, oh, I'm all there. The colors tend to be a little bit more vibrant on that mineral paper. But I didn't go back and forth. I can go back and forth on all the other papers, just not the mineral paper. So let's do wow. And it just takes it a second to dry. Just a second to dry. But what you have is beautiful. Just a second to dry. All right, I'm going to pull this one off. Wipe it up. And now you see, what inks do you own? Chances are it's going to work. It's the pastels. By using the water with the pastels, you're allowing it to set. And by taking that baby wipe, this is from last week. And just play. There's no right, there's no wrong. I'm going to let that one sit for just a minute. I think I should leave it alone. Call it done. I always say that, but I never do it. I'm gonna let that be. Isn't that beautiful? Holy smokes, artichokes. And then as they dry, you're good to stamp. And because you used water, your color is not rubbing off. It's not all over your hands. Pastels are easy, they're affordable, they are multi-use. Many things to do with these. And then as soon as it's dry, so now we're using the Stacey Park ink. Swoon! And then I can go back and stamp my sentiment on paper, die cut it out. It fits perfectly on the stamps. What's nice about Creative Coordinations is that you can mix and match all the different sets. You can use them with your dimensional diffuser. Swoon. It's dry. Dry. Wipe off my stamp. I'm going to use black this time. A little bit of a paper towel. So, questions I hope answered about a little bit more about the pastels, just how easy they can go. And you can see that how I've been doing it. I've been taking one color and then another color. And that way I get the two distinct colors. If I go in and I go, please don't, no, I'm not gonna do it. I'm just not. If I go in and I put one color down and I put another color on top of it, it will blend into a color here. But if I keep them separate and I go into a color and I go into a color, then when I put them down, my colors are kept separate. They'll blend a little here, they'll blend a little there. But I also can distinctly see my yellow and I can distinctly see my teal and a little bit of red. Ooh. I had a little pink in there from my okay, I'm not mad at that. Holy smokes. I really could do this all day long, but I know I can't. I know I have to be done. I know I need to finish up. I'm going to stamp this one and then I'm going to stamp that one because I can. Pastels are a wonderful tool. And because they're the Rembrandt name, you know it's the highest quality that Royal Talens makes. A little bit more. So normally you'd put your paper down and then line your stamp up, but you know what? Backwards never hurt. Oh my gosh, is that beautiful. All right, so let's do this one, just because we're here. I'm gonna stamp it in the blue and see if I like it. And if I don't like it, I'm gonna stamp over it. Ooh, I didn't clean. Oh well. If I don't like it, I'm gonna stamp over it in black. I do like it. Oh my gosh, I do. So this was done with blueberry pie on watercolor paper. Okay, let's grab a piece of scratch paper just so I can put my close this up and it doesn't stamp. There we go. I do like it. So pastels, so much to be done with them. Don't be thinking, oh, messy all over the place. No, it's not. Baby wipes, your friends, absolutely. Stubbies, your friends. Now we don't sell these, but you'll be able to find them at all your local art stores. These are the next 3 sets that we have brought out. They retail for about $11 a set, which is a fair price on their own, but then the I Want It All is buy 2 and you get 1 free. So the pricing is if you bought 2, you're gonna get the 1 free. And then the first round of sets that we did are here. So you've got your warms and your cools. Oh, they're just beautiful. And these are still available as well. Buy 2, get 1 free. Look for the I Want It All bundle for both individual sets. They're just absolutely dreamy. We'll make sure that the black waterproof is part of in the studio, the ITS program. And then the paper, it's really up to you. Whether you go with the watercolor paper or you go with the mixed media paper, or you were in love with the mineral paper. And remember, you're not gonna wipe back and forth with the mineral paper. That will just lift it up. You kind of have to bounce and move all over the place. But we have all the paper on sale for you as well. And because I used them today so much, I have all 4 of my creative coordinations. Oh, I didn't use this one, darn it. I'll have to use this one in one of my classes because this is a great set. But you have to stamp them one at a time. You don't put them all down at the same time. So I've got 4 creative coordinations that have just launched. Again, they go with my dimensional diffuser. We'll put all of these on sale as well for you. But today it really is, the hero really are the pastels. If you want something to play with and you want something that's going to give you lots of opportunity to play with it in many different ways and you are on a crafty budget, these are your friends. They really are. So, remember, we swatched. We used the pastels on many different kinds of paper. And we played. All right, you guys, what do you think? Next week, a whole new class on pastels, and I am going to be changing the surfaces that we are using next week. I think I'm gonna change the surfaces that we're using next week. And then week 4, it's either week 3 or week 4. Both weeks are like, wow, really? Yes, really. So now that we've covered a good solid basis of these pastels, now we're gonna amp it up just a little bit. Week 3, we'll change the surfaces, and week 4, we introduce a new medium to pastels. So stay tuned every Tuesday, 6 p.m. sunny California time, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern, right back here on the Scrapbooking Made Simple YouTube channel for our In the Studio with Stacey, where we take products from Royal Talens, a fine art company, and we mix them with our paper crafting companies. So you can find all of this product at your local independent retailer, whether it be a paper crafting retailer for the Sizzix product, a fine art retailer for the Jacquard product and the Royal Talens product. Shop them first, but if not, you can always come to Scrapbooking Made Simple, scrapbookingmadesimple.com. We're here, we're available, and we know many of you don't have an art store or a paper crafting store in your vicinity anymore. And we're trying to support independence, so if you do, please visit them first. All right, you guys, I will see you. The next time I see you is Thursday for our New For You event featuring Simple and Basic. Yes, there's already a sneak peek out there for you to look at. I will see you Thursday, 6 p.m. sunny California time, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern, right here on the Scrapbooking Made Simple YouTube channel. It's me, Stacey, licensed designer for Sizzix, Jacquard, Couture Creations, and brand ambassador for Royal Talens, owner of Scrapbooking Made Simple. Bye, everybody. Thanks for being here today. Toodles. I'm going to go mat all of these and finish them. I'm going to finish all of them. Bye.